Hi, it's the 1st of June 2019, so I thought I'd go around and do an update on how things are doing. We had a very dry May. Gosh, they're having a good time over there, aren't they? And not a very warm May either, and things were very slow to get going. And I think this was compounded by the fact that I didn't take account of the nutrition in the soil. I'd put layers of mulch on everything, and the mulch I used was mushroom compost, and I don't think it had enough nutrition in it, because I'm realising that a lot of my beans and peas got off to a really slow start. They took a long time to establish themselves, and while they were establishing they were vulnerable to being pecked by birds, etc. And peas really need to be started early, and I didn't get there early enough. But anyway, they're coming along. I've put in some replacements and I'll show you what I've done. I put these huge canes in here because I thought what I'd planted were climbing peas, but in fact you can see they're not very tall at all, and they're already producing little pods. So I don't know if they really are climbers or not, but anyway, at least they've survived the predations of the blackbirds and the pigeons. These are the runner beans. Not all of them survived. I think it must be quite important to these little plants to have their first pair of true leaves, and these seem to get either broken off by the wind or pecked off by birds, so they've been a bit slow to catch up after their leaves went. This one still has its first leaves, but I planted it a bit later because the first one that was in there died, so it's just beginning. In fact, I'm not sure what that's doing. It looks like it's starting to flower when really it should be sending a curly thing up the... Oh, look at this one. Broken off or pecked off. And this one's still quite small, but hopefully it's got its root system going and it'll suddenly start to shoot up. Another one died. Another one quite small but growing. Another one died. Another one possibly beginning to grow up. Oh, I think they're suffering from drought. You can see all the black flies on them. Let's water them again. Other side. These are also runner beans, these two, because originally, I think there was a gap there. I don't think I've planted anything, and so I had some spare ones to put in. And then there's some climbing French beans, which, that one's looking a bit yellow still. That one might be about to start climbing. That one's definitely looking for something to climb up. And that one has begun to climb. So what I really should have done was to have given them some extra nutrients when I planted them, which I didn't. I didn't even dig holes and put compost in or anything like that. It's just a top dressing of a little bit of compost from the old heap, which naturally produces masses of weed seedlings. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, I might give it some more fish blood and bone and scratch it in and then cover the whole thing with straw. These are chickpeas. They're growing really well. This is my second attempt. The ones I grew last year didn't produce anything, and I thought maybe it was because I didn't grow them early enough. And I don't know if these are any earlier, but we'll see. There are the mini pop sweet corns. 8 out of the 9 have survived, and they're beginning to green up and grow. These were the first field beans I planted, and I was horrified when I saw them all turning yellow. This one here is still yellow, but I scratched in some fish blood and bone and they have greened up a bit and they're starting to bush now, so I think they'll be alright, except for this gap in the middle where I was hoeing and I hoed up too by mistake. Dearie me. I still think this is the best way to get weeds out. You can see what they're doing. Over here are the main crop sweet corn, and they're also looking yellow, but they are growing. All except this little tiny one. It's not, I don't think you can even see it. There is one in there somewhere. That one's okay. That one's okay, that one's okay, that one's okay. This is the remains of the old compost heap. You can see how many weed seeds it's got in it. And it also has an old potato which we've left to grow. Might get something from that. And the lettuces that Chris planted, which are looking quite lush actually. And the Brussels sprouts plants. Were they Brussels sprouts? No, I think they were cauliflowers. which I had nowhere to put, and I had them in with the lettuces and he didn't realise what they were. And I'll have to transplant them somewhere when I find a space. Because I've got a whole lot more brassicas. These are calibres, just 6 calibres there. And then over here, a whole load of Brussels sprouts. And when I got worried about the ground being lacking in nutrients, I got some horse manure and I've kind of dug it in under here about a week or 2 ago, and I'm just hoping it will have been worked a bit by the worms, and then I'm going to make little holes and plant these in. These are definitely climbing peas. I grew them in pots, planted them out, covered them with hoops and netting to protect them from the birds, and they're starting to grow, which is quite encouraging. These 2 January king cabbages, the rest of the bunch that I planted in the autumn went to seed. I'm hopeful that these 2, even though it's nowhere near January anymore, they might heart up a little bit, but they're so huge. I don't know whether I should just take them out anyway, because this is where I want to plant my last lot of field beans. I've been leaving these broccoli plants because the butterflies and the bees just love the little flowers, but I'm going to have to get them out as well now. These are climbing beans. They've also taken a while to get going. They don't look as though they're climbing beans, but I have given them each a pole and hoping for the best. And here's another lot. And these, I thought I'd give them a better start by surrounding them by netting so the birds can't get their first pair of leaves and they will have a better chance. These are some more field beans, dry beans. There's still a yellow plant in there, but the rest are looking quite good. They've also had fish blood and bone when they were planted. And this pathetic little row of peas that kept getting eaten by the birds, they just walk past and casually peck off all the leaves. I grew a lot more in the drain pipe and filled in the gaps and extended the net to cover them all. So they've got going. And here's another lot of beans, similarly. The tomatoes that were looking so lush and healthy in the polytunnel, they're looking a bit green since I planted them out, but I suppose they will recover. And again, the soil didn't have much nutrient in it, so I kind of roughly forked in some horse manure, and I'm hoping for the best on that one. If it burns all their little roots, well, too bad. And some of them are looking decidedly unhappy. That was looking dry, actually. Better water it again. More cauliflowers, they want weeding. The 2 surviving ones from last year, and the new ones that I planted up this spring. Potatoes coming along nicely. And the other patch of potatoes. The odd thing is, there were just 3 there that weren't very vigorous in their growth, and the middle one looks decidedly sickly. I'm not sure if they aren't volunteers that Chris might have popped into the row when he found them lying about somewhere, but the rest are doing pretty well. Here I planted a row of radishes and parsnip seeds. The radishes came up, they've gone all woody, no sign of the parsnip seeds. It's been over a month. I don't know what's wrong with my parsnip planting process. I suspect maybe it's the mushroom compost doesn't have enough nutrients to make them think, oh yes, it's a good place to germinate. The carrots don't have any such scruples, thank goodness. They're coming along. And these are beetroots. I had to cover them with netting because last year the beetroots just all got pecked up by the birds. But I'm going to have to take it off because the carrots are pushing through now. And there's a row of some kind of cabbagey type thing. I can't remember what it was, I didn't label it. And another row of carrots which have germinated in bunches, obviously. And the rest of the row is supposed to be parsnips again, but again, nothing's come up. So I have to conclude that a seed bed can't just be soft, crumbly compost. It has to be compost with nutrients in it. So, there we go. Next year, lots of manure. See you later. Bye.